Hi, this is Dodger, and you're watching my show.
Three, two, one, ready, go.
I did a really dumb thing today. If you're like me, and every time you go somewhere, you get basically the same thing, and every now and then you branch out. Just like you think to yourself, you know what? I'm gonna get that other thing, that one other thing on the menu that looks good. You get that and it turns out good, and then you just continuously get that for a few weeks in a row. I tried to be adventurous today. I tried to take that step out of my comfort zone. I got this. It's like, well, it's supposed to be passion fruit, but every time I take a sip, it's like a grapefruit is just crawling in my mouth. So for today's news, if you are interested in watching EVO, it is this weekend, y'all. Just like every other year, it's in Vegas, and just like every other year, you can watch basically all of it on Twitch. Sam and I were gonna go, we kind of double booked ourselves a little bit, but that's okay, because again, you can watch it all on Twitch. If you are interested, there's a stream schedule, so I'll link that in the description, and that way, if there's a specific game that you're really excited about, you can go ahead and just click that and find out when it's gonna be happening. But don't be that guy, God, there's that one person, I don't know who they are, but there's always that one person who shows up in chat being like, so when is this gonna be over so I can watch Smash Brothers? Just like respect everybody's games, guys. Get that you love Smash, but like, just chill out and watch some Guilty Gear for a hot minute. Some of you might remember the numerous times in my life, my illustrious career as an internet entertainer. Some of you might recall me saying, you know, I just wish that there were more old ladies in video games. Like, playable old ladies. I just want some badass old ladies. Well, guess what? Overwatch delivered, and I'm delighted. They revealed their new hero, Ana, who is Pharah's mom, and is a support sniper, which is something that was kind of being speculated about for months before this. So even though we weren't entirely sure on who the character was, or how they were connected to everybody else, the idea of a support sniper had been whispered about in storybooks and songs for quite a while. If you have the PTR client installed, you will be able to play Ana at any point, really. It actually is just like a completely separate client of Overwatch that you can download. That's how people were doing competitive mode ahead of time, etc. It sounds like she's pretty awesome. Everybody that I know who's tried out Ana has been like, yeah, Overwatch mom, best mom. That's not to say that Mercy hasn't been a perfectly lovely Overwatch mom, but like, sniper mom. Speaking of competitive mode, just as an aside, they are adjusting a lot of that stuff, and they have assured us that in season 2, the sort of like flip the coin mechanic of figuring out who gets to win is going to be completely done with. They've adjusted that a little bit for the rest of season 1, but for season 2 they're going to try something completely different and utilize the idea of a tie. So if that sounds interesting to you, and you've found season 1 to be a bit of either a snore or a little bit frustrating, definitely check out season 2 because they're making some big changes. They're going to be trying things for the next couple of seasons, I think, to figure out what's going to be best. A mini NES was announced, and it was the talk of the town. Basically, Nintendo announced that they are going to be selling a tiny little NES. It looks exactly like an original NES, except it's going to be smaller. The controller itself looks exactly like original NES controllers, and it will come with 30 games loaded onto it. This, of course, has been exciting for people, especially the sort of people like me who grew up with an NES just being like, man, I can just buy like a tiny little NES and I can play NES games on it. That's so fun. But understandably, the big question that everybody is asking is whether or not they are going to be giving other games to you, right? So it comes with the 30 games, but will you be able to like download more or buy more in a separate thing that you plug in somehow? It has been confirmed that number 1, the mini NES has no way to connect to the internet, so downloading more games is not a thing. And number 2, that no other games will be sold at retail for it. So literally it's a tiny NES that comes with 30 games, and that's it. So really, in my mind, if you're going to be buying this, it's for the experience of like, it's a tiny NES with a little NES controller. It's so like cute and wonderful and nostalgic, right? But it's not going to be any different from just having sort of a static emulator of an NES. Aside from its legitimacy, of course. As long as it comes with Tetris, I'm good, right? I would love that. In fact, my dad would probably love that. I should just give my dad a mini NES. And myself, obviously, for science. Everyone and their grandma has been talking about Pokemon Go. I literally spent the morning today discussing with my dad what Pokemon Go is, and then being handed off to my mom, and then explaining to her what Pokemon Go is. Everybody wants to know what Pokemon Go is. They're hearing about it on the news, they're hearing about it on Facebook, so whether or not they fully comprehend what it is, they want to know about it. We had the big Google scare where everybody was like, oh my god, they can get my emails, right? And all of that has been fixed. There were a bunch of bugs, it kept freezing. That's all been fixed for the most part. Mine still freezes every now and then. But I think really, the big issue that so many wonderful people across the world are dealing with right now is that they live on a farm and there's nothing around. I was thinking to myself, oh my god, if I still lived in Oregon, if I still lived on my farm in Oregon, I would be looking at my phone and going, well, the nearest Pokestop is about an hour away, so guess this isn't the game for me. You will be delighted to hear that you can actually submit locations for Pokestops and gyms now. So if you're in an area where you're like, what is this? There's nothing around. I want to play this so bad and there's nothing around, right? You can totally submit a place and they will consider it. Apparently the fact that our office is a gym is not enough, and everybody who works here has also submitted it to be a Pokestop, which I'm fine with, but I think it's a little greedy. But really, I mean, for those of you who have been playing this game and are like, God, I would be getting so much more out of this if there was just more, right? If there were more stops, if there were more gyms near me, that would be amazing. I highly encourage you to just submit. What's the worst that could happen? You still don't have a Pokestop there? At least you tried, right? And just think, if you woke up and you went to your school bus stop or whatever and it was a Pokestop suddenly, primo. And for those of you who still don't even have the game in your country, I am so sorry. They've been delaying making it completely international for a little bit here, I think because they've had so many problems with the servers, right? But hopefully soon we'll all get to play together. And for our final bit of news, something that's a little bit chilling, but for a good cause. The network that I'm part of, Revelmode, with PewDiePie and Mark and Cry and Jack and all of them, we put together a Humble Bundle. It's sold really, really well so far. The charity that we're raising money for is Crisis Text Line, which is just an awesome program. If you're having an emotional crisis of some sort and you really need somebody to talk to, you can just text this number and somebody will respond and have a conversation with you and talk about what's wrong and how you're feeling and just try to help you get through it, you know? And I think it's just so important, such a good program. They have a huge volunteer program as well. If you would like to be somebody who's on the other end, who's answering the texts, you can totally apply for that and do all of the training online. So that's super cool, but we all thought that it had a lot of value, and so we've been raising money for them. So it's super awesome. If you're interested in our Humble Bundle, you should check it out. I'll link it in the description. You can check that out. And feel free to give literally all of the money to the charity. That's cool. I'll also link to the Crisis Text Line actual website in the description if you're interested in hearing more information about that. Anywho, that's been my show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a positive or a negative response, feel free to leave it in my comment section. And if you would like to watch my live streams, you can find them at twitch.tv/dexteritybonus. I've been streaming 5 days a week, and I actually had an incredible sub train today. So I'm gonna be putting together a really long stream with giveaways and stuff as a thank you for that. So keep your eyeballs peeled. If you're interested in any of my social medias, I'm at DexBonus, DEXBONUS, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye. Mwah. Sniper Mom.